I love them, but something about them terrifies me. When I first got custody of the kids, it was supposed to be a fresh start, a new chapter for all of us. My ex-wife and I had drifted apart over the years, and the divorce was a quiet one. Too quiet, almost. There was no dramatic courtroom battle, no ugly accusations, just a simple agreement. I wasn't happy about it, but I tried to make the best of it for their sake. We moved into a new house, an old two-story place on the edge of town. It was too big for just the three of us, but I thought it might help us settle in. It had character, they said. Charming, the realtor called it, with creaky floors and windows that rattled in the wind. The kids were excited about the space, the secret nooks, and the endless hallways to explore. But almost from the moment we stepped through the door, something didn't feel right. It started small, things out of place, strange sounds in the night. I'd hear whispers in the walls, or soft footsteps following me when I thought I was alone. At first, I brushed it off. Old houses make noises, I told myself. It's just the settling of the foundation. The kids didn't seem to notice anything, but there were moments when I'd catch them staring at the shadows, their eyes wide and unblinking, as though they were waiting for something to emerge. And then it got worse. One night, after I tucked them in, I heard a loud bang coming from upstairs. My heart skipped a beat, and I rushed up to check on them. Both of their rooms were dark, the doors closed. But when I opened the door to Emma's room, there was a chill in the air, like the temperature had dropped a few degrees. She was sitting up in bed, her eyes fixed on the corner of the room, her face pale. "Daddy, they're here again," she whispered. I froze. I had no idea what she meant. "Who, sweetie?" "The people in the walls," she said, her voice trembling. "They're talking to me again. They want us to stay." My blood ran cold. I glanced around the room, but all I saw was the darkness, thick and oppressive. I didn't hear anything, but I felt it, the pressure, the weight of something unseen. I wanted to dismiss it, to reassure her that it was just her imagination. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The house felt wrong. That night, I stayed in the hallway, my back against the door, listening. The house seemed to breathe with me. I heard the whispering voices again, so soft I couldn't make out the words. But they were there, pulling at the edges of my mind, tempting me to listen. As the weeks passed, the occurrences grew more intense. My son, Max, began having nightmares. He'd wake up screaming, clutching his blankets, saying he saw them standing at the foot of his bed. At first, I thought it was just the stress of everything, new home, new routine, new life. But the fear in his eyes was real, and I couldn't ignore it. And then, one evening, I saw it myself. I was downstairs washing dishes when I saw a shadow pass across the hallway. I turned, expecting to see one of the kids, but no one was there. The air grew thick with unease, and the whispers came again, louder this time. I followed the sound, my heart pounding in my chest, until I reached the attic door. The attic had always been locked, and the keys were nowhere to be found. But as I reached for the door, the whispers stopped. The silence that followed was even worse. I could feel eyes on me, like someone was waiting for me to open the door, daring me to face whatever was on the other side. I didn't. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stayed awake, my eyes darting between the kids' rooms, making sure they were safe. But as I sat there in the dark, the fear began to gnaw at me. What had we brought into our lives? What had we disturbed when we moved into this house? I didn't tell the kids any of this. I couldn't. They were already afraid enough. But I couldn't shake the terror that clung to me, that sense that something was lurking just out of sight, waiting for the right moment to show itself. And the worst part? I started to understand what Emma meant. I could feel them too. In the walls, in the corners, watching, waiting. I loved my children more than anything in this world. But I had to admit, sometimes I was terrified of them. Not because of anything they did, but because of what they seemed to know. What they seemed to understand about the house that I couldn't yet see. And I couldn't shake the feeling that they were keeping secrets I wasn't sure I wanted to know.